The Cinematic Shuffle has shuffled once again. If you were around last week, you would have seen me give off my weekly 3 hints for this installment, and those hints were Airplane, Desert, and Remake. While nobody made a guess over on Twitter, a few of you did over on YouTube when I did it as a YouTube short. 3D Jake and Michael Kwan both guessed a variation on The Mummy, which that's not a bad guess, but I did review those on YouTube, and part of the idea with Cinematic Shuffle is that these are movies that I've never done over here. Meanwhile, we got Mr. Sticky and Master Grapefruit, who both guessed Flight of the Phoenix, and that was the right answer. So congrats to you both for figuring that out. Flight of the Phoenix is a 2004 dramatic thriller film based on a 1965 film of the same name. While the original starred people like Jimmy Stewart and Ernest Borgnine, this remake was truly an ensemble piece starring the likes of Dennis Quaid as the pilot of a plane carrying Miranda Otto, Giovanni Ribisi, Tyrese Gibson, Hugh Laurie, among many others. The plane that they're on eventually crash lands in the middle of the Mongolian desert, stranding them all with limited supplies. Their only hope of survival is to take the parts of that crashed plane and build a new one, all the while thwarting suspicion from the dangerous smugglers that are camped nearby. So I want to start this off by saying that I have seen both the original movie starring Jimmy Stewart as well as this, and at least from my recollection, I believe that I enjoy both movies about equally, as there are positives to be found in both scenarios. Heck, in a big way, they're both kind of ensemble cast movies as well, if you think about it, and if I had to compare the two, I'd probably say that the first was significantly more practical and thought-provoking, while this was aimed to be more of a thriller with dramatic music, dramatic editing, and the overall ambiance, which I actually think fits the concept a little bit more, since, I mean, if you were to crash land in the middle of a desert, surrounded by death everywhere you look, that would indeed be terrifying, and this did a decent job replicating that feeling. Whenever you have an ensemble cast like this, though, you risk the concept that you cast them for star appeal, more so than you cast them because they actually feel right for their respective roles. For Flight of the Phoenix specifically, I would say for the most part, the cast here they really do just kind of feel like they were cast for star power than anything else, other than Giovanni Ribisi, who actually steals the show from the film in such a huge way. He's such a weirdo. But to be honest, Dennis Quaid also did a pretty solid job as well, but he is Dennis Quaid. Everybody else is mostly just kind of taking up space and doing their part to heighten the dramatic elements of the narrative. But individually, they serve no more of a function than a worker ant. Obviously, they couldn't get anywhere building a new plane unless they had a number of willing participants doing their part. But as an audience member, you don't really love every single character or really care if they live or die. Except maybe Hugh Laurie, because, he's Hugh Laurie. Funny story, he actually auditioned to play Dr. House while he was filming this movie. I think one of the main issues with this film that people sometimes have is the ability to believe these people are ever truly in danger, whether it be dying of dehydration, hyperthermia, or physically being in danger because there's killer smugglers nearby. I can see the skepticism there. I don't always believe that these people are days away from death myself, but sometimes there's just enough suspension of disbelief for me to buy into the idea, and that partially has to do with the performances, a little bit of how the movie was actually shot, which by the way was pretty good, and the production design. It's easy to buy into the idea that they're actually in the middle of a desert because they are, it's not the Mongolian desert, but rather the Namib Desert in Namibia. Sorry if I said that wrong. But yeah, overall, I can easily say that this is a fun movie. The original is probably better all around, but in some ways, I would simply say apples and oranges, I could see buying and enjoying both versions for years to come, and it's an example of when a remake can be made and you can enjoy both versions for different reasons. I would say the same about Rear Window. Again, Jimmy Stewart, but the remake with Christopher Reeve in the wheelchair? I actually love that version as well. There's no reason why you have to always pick one over the other. The world isn't like that. It thinks it is, but it's not. I mean, the Harry Potter TV series coming out, there's a reason why I'm really looking forward to it. Because why can't I? Anyways, I'm getting off topic. My final score for Flight of the Phoenix was A B letter grade, final overall score of 79%, 79 out of 100 possible stars. It's definitely a decent film overall. It's slightly a product of its time as well, as some of those dramatic edits throughout the film and slow-mo shots specifically feel tacky, they do. But it was released back in 2004, and blockbusters during that time were a little bit touch and go when it came down to the editing, and that's okay. I think for the most part it does work out for what it is. But guys, have you seen Flight of the Phoenix? If so, let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Also, do you prefer the original, or do you actually like the remake more? As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next installment for the Cinematic Shuffle. And until then, peace out!